Are you filled with the Spirit? We might think of that in terms of sports, where folks get very excited about their team, especially when the Phillies score a home run or the Eagles score a touchdown, and we are very enthusiastic about what we see. And maybe we think that that kind of team spirit, that support and enthusiasm that we find out in the world, is the kind of thing that we should have in our churches as well, that churches should be filled with the Spirit. And certainly within a church, there ought to be this kind of excitement and enthusiasm about what's taking place there. After all, God is speaking to His church in the ministry of His Word from week to week. After all, we are singing praises to the God who made us and created us. And so that ought to be something that should be entered into with great enthusiasm, great joy. But is enthusiasm on its own to be understood as being filled with the Spirit? In fact, if you talk to some folks today, they might be quite concerned about those who claim to be filled with the Spirit. They're skeptical of those claims and find that there are some who are filled with the Spirit who are given over to radical fringe movements, given over to hyper-emotionalism, and usually from the viewpoint of some who consider themselves rather sophisticated, it's the hallmark of those who are fundamentalist in their faith, or radical Christians, or people who just don't know things about the world or about the Bible. On the other side, from the perspective of those who place great emphasis on being filled with the Spirit, they consider that to be the apex of Christian experience. That's what we long to have, the filling of the Spirit. It's by the power of the Spirit that we're able to witness, and by the power of the Spirit we're able to bring others into Christ's church, and by the power of the Spirit we're able to live Christian lives. And so, which is it? In fact, some even go on to say that being filled with the Spirit is necessarily accompanied by speaking in tongues, by prophesying, by perhaps even works of miracles and healings. And so there are some that would even go that far in describing what it means to be filled with the Holy Spirit. This Sunday, I want to talk about what it means to be filled with the Spirit and look at the various experiences of that in the Scriptures and what precisely the Scriptures mean about that. And I hope that we'll be able to flesh that out for you a bit and give you, if you will, a reformed understanding of being filled with the Holy Spirit. And I'll distinguish that from other kinds of approaches, especially the charismatic Pentecostal approach. And some might seem or feel that that's the best expression of what it means to be filled with the Spirit. The most notable example, perhaps. But in Reformed spirituality, I believe the filling of the Spirit has so much more to it than merely the experience of tongues and healings and these kinds of things. So we'll talk about that this Sunday at First Presbyterian Church in Perkasie, Pennsylvania. We're located on the corner of 5th and Race Streets. We're the little red brick church on the corner. And we invite you to come and join with us as we worship God, as we hear His Word proclaimed, and as we have wonderful fellowship with each other. Join us in our mission in seeking to reach our community for Christ and to advance the glory of His name throughout the whole earth. We look forward to seeing you this Sunday, May the 7th, and this is Pastor McLaren. Take care.